I wrote this piece for the New Indian Express. It's on my blog also on subramani.com. But for those people who don't read, here is what I wrote about few important questions to be asked before investing. So first, a caveat. When I say few important questions, I don't mean these are all the questions you have to ask and these are the only questions to ask, but these are the minimum questions to ask. Don't make any investment before going through this checklist. If your husband is investing and you are just an passive viewer and you are not participating in that, you better ask these questions to your husband and make sure you understand what he is doing. If your wife is doing the investing and you do not know why, the same rules apply to you. There are many women who now handle their portfolios and the men say, I don't know, she does things like that. That can't be true. But please make sure that you make checklists. And I don't know if you've read this book, The Checklist Manifesto, one of the finest books by Dr. Atul Gawande. Anyway, that's so here are my questions which I would love you to ask. Some of these questions are pretty intuitive, some of them are not. Sometimes you need to sit with your laptop and open subramani.com at this article and then sit with your relationship manager or IFA or MFD with whom you are dealing and ask these questions. Afterwards it will become a habit. So first thing is the person, is he qualified to sell it? Is he registered to sell it? Because one is to say, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm a chartered accountant, I've been doing my own investments. That's all fantastic. But are you registered? Are you allowed to do it? Or have you got a registration in your wife's name and you are selling, right? In India, all these things happen. So check that out. I'm not saying you should not deal with this person, but remember, you will never be able to prosecute a person who is not registered. So in case something goes wrong and you want to take panga, he has missold to you, he has taken your check and run away, you are much better off dealing with a registered person. If a person who comes to you is acting on behalf of his wife and his wife is a registered agent, you cannot take any panga with her. She will prove that on the day when the sale happened, she was in a different city. You will never be able to pin anything on them. So be careful about that. Check out whether the product is approved by some regulator, which means a SEBI or an IRDA, PFRDA, RBI. Somebody should have approved it, because in this country, even approved products you can get conned. So why would you go for something which is not registered at all anywhere? You have no clue whom to catch, which means your things like chit funds and bitcoins. You have to be very careful. You have to be sure that you know the whole process. You know the person who is what you're buying, how you will exit, what is the lock-in. If you don't understand all this, there is no website or nothing which will teach you very authentically and authoritatively. There is no SEBI.com or an IRDA, right, or SEBI.org, whatever, to tell you the facts, to say these people have been prosecuted, this has happened. There is no such data available on Bitcoin, so be careful about that. Also check out whether you can convert your current income to capital gains. Now this is not something which very many people do, because it requires a combination of an MFD plus chartered accountant to be able to do such a simple thing, because it does not strike them. So here, if you are a 40-year-old or a 42-year-old man or a woman who is keeping money in debt instruments, keeping it in bank deposit makes no sense, because you're going to pay tax on that year on year for the next 15, 20, 30 years, whatever. But if you kept in something like an ultra short bond fund or a short term income fund, and you said, I'm not going to look at it for 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, or you're doing SIP or an STP, largely an SIP, into a gilt fund and saying, okay, I'm 40 and every month I'll put 5,000 rupees in a gilt fund or 10,000 rupees in a gilt fund, and I will use this as my retirement corpus after 30 years. You're postponing your tax by 20, 30 years. That's an amazing power of compounding that will kick in, simply because you're not paying tax on a year-to-year basis, and you're not paying tax on current income, you're paying tax on capital gain, which will anyway be lesser thanks to inflation, etc. Also ask, how long will this be tied up? Am I investing in this fund for 3 years, for 5 years, for 15 years, for 25 years, whatever? I don't really care, but ask this question. Because you know in PPF you should not be withdrawing for 15 years. That is there. It is a feature. You can't withdraw. Now the problem with unit link plans, whether it is pension or whether it is an insurance product, is you can withdraw. The problem is you shouldn't withdraw. See how you will behave, but at least ask, is this for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? How many years do I have to pay? And how many years do I have to compulsorily pay? And what is the lock-in? When can I remove the money in case of an emergency? If you have a net worth of 4 crores and you're putting small amounts of here, and this is going to accumulate to about 20 lakhs in 5 years or 7 years, don't worry. You don't need liquidity in your total portfolio. Your whole portfolio should be safe. Some portfolio things should be liquid. Some should give you good return. So just check out, is it going to give me return? Is it going to give me liquidity? I anyway want safety in my whole portfolio. So this is something which you should tell him. Then ask yourself and your wife, do you really understand the product? If you don't understand, you don't have to buy it. Please don't buy complicated products just for the kick of it. Don't buy anything for the kick of it. If you want kick, maybe an ass is a better thing to buy, or maybe a zebra kick will be even better. So get a zebra and stand there. Don't buy product just for the kick. If you don't understand, paying money to understand is not a smart thing to do. Just don't buy, stay away. Is the seller trying to confuse me with words like insurance and return and things like that, which means, is it a ULIP which I don't understand? Is it something where I'm paying a premium but it is also looking like an investment product? It also covers my risk and all that, and why am I not feeling very comfortable? So trust your gut feeling. You don't like it, you don't understand it, it doesn't stand the smell test, it doesn't stand the taste test, don't buy, right? It doesn't smell good, doesn't taste good, why buy, right? Then ask, what is the risk in this product? That is a very important question to ask. I know what is the reward I am getting. I know you're promising me 12% return when the interest rates here is about 6%. Why am I getting that extra 6%? What is that reward that I am getting for the risk that I am taking? Because according to you, there is no risk. If there is no risk, why is it giving me 12% return? Because I expect 6% return in the zero risk game, like a bank FD. A State Bank of India FD today, let us say, gives me 6%. Why is this fund giving me 12%? Why is this investment giving me 12%? A very good, valid question to ask. Ask him how much of that is guaranteed, how much will definitely come, and how much of it is you think will come, right? Better to find out all those questions. And if I have performance issues and the fund is not doing well, whom do I turn to? Will you be there? Will you change your jobs, right? Can I speak to a few people who have bought similar products and who are happy with the product 3 years later or 4 years later? They've understood the product, they've understood the limitations, they've understood the advantages, and they do think that the advantages far outweigh the risks which are there. Then ask whether there are any withdrawal penalties. You have said I can withdraw only after 5 years, but from 5th year to 25th year, is there a withdrawal penalty? Will I get out at NAV, or will I get at NAV minus some 5% or 2% discount because I'm seeking partial liquidity? Right, so first find out about that, and then very importantly, assuming you're a man, get your wife and child to the table, assuming your child is about 13-14 years of age, and tell that guy, explain it in simple terms what it is, because tomorrow if I am dead, they are going to manage it. This is a very good exercise to do with every product, and if the guy can't explain it in very short, simple steps for your 13-year-old or a 14-year-old to understand, believe me, the product is not worth it. Thank you.